Here, we are going to get to your topic as quickly as possible. We respect and appreciate everyone's time tonight. And so with that, I'm going to call the Destin City Council meeting to order for July 20th, 2026. Up first is going to be our invocation by Pastor Kevin from Grace Lutheran Church. Thank you so much for being here.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord God, Heavenly Father, you have ordained government for our own good. So give us, we pray, leaders and citizens whose hearts are attuned to you. Grant to each and all of us the wisdom to uphold what you have made right, the conviction to abhor what we have made wrong, and the will to do what you have made just, so that thy will be done in this community. We pray this in the name of him who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, him who is fully God, born fully man also, to live the perfect life, to die the perfect sacrifice, to rise from the dead, the perfect resurrection and life, your Son and Savior from sin, ascended to heaven, to return the last day to judge the living and the dead, even Jesus Christ. Amen. The grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God the Father, the communion of the Holy Spirit be with us all. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you for being here for that. Councilwoman Hebert with the pledge, please.
Please join me with your hands over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Man. That sounds pretty cool with a bunch of people doing that. That's amazing. All right. So with that, for everyone who's got an agenda, please know for the public hearing, which there's only one, which is the annexation, per state statute, we need to have a public comment for that during that time. So I'm going to be asking for public comments in a moment, and anything but that topic. I'm not sure if there's anyone here for anything but that topic, but I just wanted to make that perfectly clear that there will be a time to speak during the annexation, right after Ms. Kimberly Kopp, our city attorney, reads in the public hearing. So I just wanted to get that kind of off into a good start. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda if we have any other amendments.
I'll approve.
I just need to add the motions that were done at the Harbor CRA and
Yes,
forward
please.
them to the council. That's
Okay.
all. And that'll, under my name is fine.
Perfect. All right, anything else? Modifications, deletions? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion with that modification?
I'll make that motion to approve with the modifications with Ms. Trammell.
All right, I have a motion
second.
with a second by Ms. Trammell. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. Yep.
I will vote yes, Mayor.
All right, we'll go down the line. All right, good deal. Councilman Braden?
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to do a roll call vote?
Yes.
Councilman Trammell?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, ayes have it, so moved. Motion carries. All right, we'll get into the first public comments. If anyone here wishes to speak on any topic, not under the public hearing, would be your time to do so. And don't laugh, there's always a few.
All right, Ricky Lynn Grant Jr., 175 Main Street, Destin, Florida, 32541. And I just want to ask a question. What's this all for? And hopefully we can get to the bottom of that. You know, are we alone out there? Stuff like that. And I think Okaloosa County needs more beach accesses because I walked through Walton County on my way to PCB, and they pride themselves on their beach accesses. They got beach accesses every 100 yards. Okaloosa County really needs more beach accesses in between all the big high-rise hotels so people that walk, like me, can go to the beach a little bit more. And from the harbor, they could build a big sky bridge to walk to Noriega Point Park from the harbor. And, you know, there could be more harbor and beach adventures out there for people that walk and like entrepreneurs or surfers and remote-friendly people that work remotely. But yeah, I would say Okaloosa County needs more beach accesses. And maybe a sky bridge if they're going to build it like a big city, because I saw it happen in Nashville when they were building like distilleries coming in town. And I hope I don't get left behind if they're going to, revamp the city and make it like a big city, like high rises and like maybe a city in the sky like Mile High Club. And something futuristic or something. I could see something like that kind of being created. But yeah, I guess more, bigger than life buildings, bigger than life cities, new urbanism, bigger than life, more narrative driven type stuff. Well, anyways, I don't want to get left behind because I am trying to make it home. And if they're going to, be doing what they did in Nashville, then I want to be getting home because begin with the end in mind. And I'm doing this for a specific reason. I'm trying to get somewhere. I may not be going to outer space and taking people with me, and but I have a reasonable goal that I'm getting to. And that's something that I just want everybody to know. What is it all for? I live in an installation, on Okaloosa Island, and that's where I fish from. So I just want to find some ground and somewhere to call home, and because I'm getting there. I might as well be moving to outer space with the next frontier, but I'm just trying to, I guess, really get the job done. I guess, but go Packers! I got my Packers. I'm gonna do some stuff. Wholesaler, I got to close my deal, but I'll see y'all next time because that's my time.
All right, thank you, Ricky. All right, anyone else?
Hey, y'all. My name's Rob Valentin. I live on Noriego Road on Holiday Isle. I'm speaking on my personal behalf this evening and not as an officer of the Holiday Isle Improvement Association, as we haven't met since the last special meeting. I come here because I can't help but think that an opportunity was missed last Wednesday during the special meeting. I personally dislike revisiting votes or business decisions and prefer to instead move forward once a decision has been made or a vote has been cast. However, in the case of Wednesday's meeting, I can't help but think that Mr. Palmer's remarks during the initial public speaking period added some heat to the room that may have influenced the outcome of the vote. From a strictly business and analytical perspective, I would think it's a no-brainer to entertain Mr. Morgan's motion and give it a try before you decide to pick a fight with the county. All diplomatic avenues have not yet been exhausted. The council had already agreed to 75% of what the county asked for, including the harbor parking would add 25%. But as I previously said, this could easily be recovered by simply raising fees, and since all Destin and County residents would be parking for free, the only impact would be on the tourist and not your constituents. I did not hear a single argument that was objective or based on facts. It was purely subjective and based on the council's distrust of Mr. Palmer and the 3 county commissioners. And I get it. I've been to those meetings. Their behavior has earned that distrust. However, I ask you not to lose the plot here, which is to gain control of the property. They provided a reasonable proposal that, if accepted, could be financially mitigated. Mr. Palmer himself reached out to me following the meeting via text. I asked him bluntly, if the council had voted yes on the motion, would he have placed it on the agenda and voted to jointly bring it to the state with the request to have the city manage the property? He replied, quote, yes, I would have put it on the 8-4 agenda and I would have voted in support of it, unquote. His would be the deciding vote, as Ms. Cox and Ms. Ketchel had previously sided with the city. So why would we not vote in favor and try to give this a try? The downside risk is that Mr. Palmer lied to me and does not vote in favor of his own proposal. If this occurs, then you can pick a fight with the county. It would only cost us 2 weeks before the 8-4 BCC meeting. The upside is you have a definitive and favorable path to gaining control of the park without expending indeterminate amounts of money, time, and resources that do not guarantee a positive outcome. And if things still go sideways, you can then engage with the conflict resolution process. Also, any future conflict resolution, mediation, or legal proceedings would be more favorable to the city if you could show you accepted his proposal as is and he still voted against it. That would show on the record that he was not working in good faith with you. I ask that you reconsider now that you're a few days removed from Mr. Palmer's provocative statement and abrupt departure. I'd hate to see that park languish behind a chain link fence for the next X number of years as this is battled out, with no guarantee the city will prevail. And I'd really hate to see that pristine piece of property be commercialized if the city doesn't prevail. It will forever be a blight on Holiday Isle and the city of Destin. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ron. All right, anyone else before we close? All right, seeing no one else, we'll close public comments and we'll get into the proclamation and announcements, presentations in this case. So Kelly Beth Horton. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, council. I appreciate you all being here, and what a crowd that came to see my presentation, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm very flattered that you all would come out tonight. I just came by tonight to give you guys an overview of the session, or should I say sessions, because we had 3 of them this year. Our regular session ended on March 13th, and they completed that without a budget. So we knew we were going to have to come back. However, we came back 3 times. We came back for a redistricting session where they redrew some congressional districts. We came back for a special session on the budget, and that one finished up at the end of May, on May 29th, which was 77 days late. Overall, the state budget came in at $114.5 billion, which was down from last year's $115.1 billion. They left $14 billion in reserves, and the governor did veto $1.6 billion in projects and reserves. So that we were very lucky that the governor did not pick on our projects, that we were unscathed there. So I was pretty excited about that. And then the third special session, which followed right after the budget session, was the property tax relief amendment that will go on the ballot in November. And my business partner, Rich Heffley, is here tonight, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the outlook of how that's going to be when it goes on the ballot and some things that are ahead for that. The 2026 session was a very low output of bills that passed. Of the 1,896 bills that were filed, only 237 passed, which was about a 12.5 passage rate, and that's a decline from 2023, which was about 19.47% pass rate. Some wins for you all for the city of Destin was we secured $1 million for the Crosstown Connector. We secured $1 million for the Four Prong Lake project, and we secured $1 million for the Stallman Avenue improvements. And I will say that you guys made it very easy on me that every time I went into a meeting to present these projects to the governor's office, that y'all have worked really hard on these projects. You put a lot of skin into the game, which is what they like to see. And we were able to keep all 3 of those projects. We didn't get any vetoes, which is wonderful. I was pretty excited about that. And I appreciate all of you who came over to Tallahassee and all of you who made calls to members and the governor's office to advocate for those projects, because we were successful. And I have to mention Senator Trumbull and also Representative Maney were champions for us too. Another bill that I think is a win for you is the Sovereign Immunity Bill. That bill did pass, which raised the cap from 200 to 350 per person, or 300 to 500,000 per incident. However, the governor vetoed that bill. But I do expect that this is going to come back next year. They've tried it for the last couple of years, but I think under a new governor and under some new House and Senate leadership, that there's going to be an attempt to bring that back next year. I'm going to talk just a little bit about property tax relief, about some things that are going to happen before it goes on the ballot, and then Rich can talk about maybe some polling and some things to think about there. But it did pass, but not exactly the way the governor wanted it to pass. It didn't include schools, and it was not as aggressive as he wanted to be on it. But there are some issues that are being challenged in court, and those challenges are going to be reviewed on the 29th of July, so that's coming up soon. And so we'll know what the court's going to do with that amendment. And there's a theory that they're going to probably kick it back and ask the legislature and the attorney general to rewrite it under some guidelines from the court. So we'll see what they do with that. And you know, there's starting to be some opposition that's coming out on that amendment, and so we'll see where that lands. There was a couple of land use fights that I know that you guys are following. Senate Bill 180 from last year, which was pretty bad for local governments. And there was a couple of fixes that were presented to the legislature this year. Senator Gates worked really hard on this bill and Representative Abbott. But in the end, only the Senate passed any fixes for that. The House wouldn't take it up. I'm guessing they're going to try that again next year under new House leadership. We've got a new speaker coming in, and I think that they'll probably take that up again next year. So hopefully some of the things that we're trying to do this year, they could do next year. And I think the way they're trying to structure that is you guys would be geographically taken out, is my hope, is they would only limit that to certain areas of the state, and you guys wouldn't be caught up in that. There was another bill that was called the Blue Ribbon Projects Bill, which is where large landowners could take a tract of land and they wouldn't have to abide by any of the local planning, the local government planning organizations, and they could just pretty much do what they wanted to do. And these are extremely large tracts of land, like 15,000 acres or more. And I would say that was the most controversial bill of the session, and it ended up not passing. But again, that one's probably going to come back next year too. We followed a beach management bill where they were asking for all the local governments to put together their beach management plan that would be then submitted to the state to be incorporated into a big beach management program plan. But that didn't pass. But again, I expect that to be back next year. The term limits for county commission and school board members, that died. I know that's not you all, but I know that that's something you guys probably follow closely because of your relationship with the county. That didn't make it across the finish line. There was a bill on the permitting, the building permit and inspections that passed that kind of streamlines that process and makes it a little bit easier for people to get building permits. There's a DEI ban for local governments that passed, and that means that any of your vendors or any local money that goes out to either a vendor or like a grant program, they can't use that money for DEI programs, a recipient of that. So you have to review all your vendors and your grant programs and just make sure that that's not happening. But I think you guys are good there. And then finally, I'll mention during the regular session, they took up an AI Bill of Rights that didn't end up making it across the finish line. The governor put that in the special session for redistricting, and it didn't, the legislature decided not to take it up again. But I expect that issue to be back, and that's probably going to be at the forefront of session next year. That'll probably be the biggest issue of the entire session. So I think you'll see that one, and that could affect you also. We'll have to watch that closely because I know that AI is in everything. And just for your planning purposes, after the election, the new members will be sworn in, and then we'll start committee meetings in December, in January and February, and then regular session will start in March. And so be thinking about what our ask will be or what our legislative fixes need to be for next year, and we can go ahead and start socializing those because we have a great delegation. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Jay Trumbull and Pat Maney and Shane Abbott and all the good folks around us. We got a couple of new members that are coming in that are superstars, so looking forward to working with them. And again, I appreciate being on the team. I love working with Larry and Kim and Crystal and all the folks that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis. You guys respond quickly, and you know, I can take it to the bank, whatever you say. And again, thanks to everyone for making calls and also for making the trip over to Tallahassee. I appreciate it. And I'm going to let Rich give a quick overview of what's going to happen in November. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Just quickly, building on what Kelly said, I want to talk about the future and the opportunity because, as you all know, with term limits in Florida, you know, we have a lot of change, constant change that's built into the system. This is going to be one of the most consequential elections we've had in the last 20 years. But a lot of it's predictable, some of it's not. So we're going to have a U.S. Senate race that we didn't plan on. Why do we have that? Because President Trump was elected, and he's from Florida, and he took all kinds of people from Florida. So that opened up. Ashley Moody went to the Senate. She has to run for 2 years to finish Marco Rubio's term, and then she has to run again in 2 years for a 6-year term. We have a new congressional map that is going to probably yield the Republicans 2 to 4 more seats. Won't impact this area at all. Really, it's everything south of the Orlando area. But that's going to have a big impact nationally, because if the Republicans do hold control of the Congress, we have the second largest delegation in the majority. So that should benefit us, particularly a very Republican area like here. The governor and cabinet, open governor's race, those don't come along very often. In fact, if you go back to 1970, only 2 governors haven't run for re-election, or haven't won re-election. So the thought is this new governor is going to be here for 8 years. That's a nice planning horizon, but that's going to mean a ton of change. Governor has 400 or 500 appointments. Governor's going to appoint a tax and budget reform commission that's going to happen during his tenure. All new agency heads. So I throw that out both because that's an opportunity, and if there are people from this area that you think should be serving in state government, whether that's appointed office, whether that's a staff, whatever, this is your opportunity to inject those people into the system, because it can have a huge, huge impact on what happens here. New staff, new policy, no institutional knowledge. So as Kelly was saying, how great it is that you all have been so good about coming over to Tallahassee and testifying or calling legislators or calling state officials. It's going to be more important than ever, because that institutional knowledge is going to get lost. Going to be new staffers, going to be a lot of change there. And the legislature, the legislature is going to stay supermajority Republican, plus or minus, a seat or 2. But we also, that's where things get predictable, because we know who the next 3 Senate presidents are. We know who the next 3 speakers are. We're fortunate that one of the former Senate presidents, Don Gates, is in the legislature still, has 2 more years, could have 6 more years to serve, and Jay Trumbull's about to get reelected and have another 4 years, and in his last 2 years, he'll be the president of the Senate. Huge, huge, huge for this region, Florida. So I throw that out. Second, just to get, all politics is a math problem, as you know, whether you're passing a resolution here on the commission, or whether it's you're getting votes, or whether it's being elected. The math is all for the Republicans. There's no doubt that the Republicans are going to win statewide, so you've got that predictability. 4 weeks from tomorrow is the primary. So you'll know who all the statewide candidates are, you'll know who all the nominees are for office, and then the general election is 15 weeks from tomorrow, and then the new governor is sworn in 24 weeks for tomorrow. So a lot of stuff's going to be happening. As Kelly said, now's the time to be thinking. Now's the time to come up with ideas. Now, again, if somebody wants to serve, or you know somebody that should be a revenue secretary or whatever agency it might be, now is the time to do that. Property tax, Kelly mentioned that. It's hard to say what's going to happen, because, as she mentioned, everybody that I talk to that are smart lawyers thinks the language as it's written is going to get thrown out, because the governor and legislature drew ballot language was longer than what is allowed by the citizens. Citizens can only write a ballot entitled summary that's 75 words. This one's like 160. And there's some deficiencies in it that people think. So as Kelly mentioned, next week is the court date. After that, there's a question, but I believe it's probably the Attorney General who has 10 days then to rewrite the language. And so the polling that's out there isn't polling the exact question that voters will go vote for. But what I will tell you is all the polling I see shows it right now currently in the low 60s. And the rule of thumb for political professionals is whatever a ballot tests initially before anything's been run against it, it's only going to go down. So the likelihood, and by the way, for those who don't know, it takes 60%, not 50% for a ballot initiative in Florida to pass. So this one's going to be close, probably may just fail, because the governor said he's not going to campaign and raise money for it, and it seems like there's more organized groups on the no side of this. But let's see what the real language is. Say, let's get some polling in mid-August when we know what's going to be on the ballot. And then we can build from there. With that, we're glad to be on your team. You guys make our job so easy. But there is if there's one message, a lot of opportunity coming down the field here, and you guys are well situated to get things done because of your delegation, because of how strong advocates you are for your community. And with that, I'll get out of the way so these folks can have their say, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Hebert.
Kelly, if you can come back over here, please, ma'am. I just want to let you know, as your legislative sponsor, to ask our team here to get you as our lobbyist, a couple years ago was the best decision
Oh, thank you.
ever.
Oh, thanks,
I think that
Councilwoman.
you have helped us in areas we couldn't have done it without your help. I mean, you got us into meetings. I mean, the mayor's been up there, met talked to Gates and talked to Maney and Trumbull, and it's been amazing, the access that you have because you've been at this for years.
Yeah.
People know you and respect you, and you representing our citizens, our folks that work hard, and we want things done.
I appreciate
And for 1,896 to be forward, and all three got approved, and the millions that we needed, we got.
That's great.
I just want to commend you for
Yeah, thank
taking
you.
good care of us. Your
Thank you.
team is a very valuable asset to us, and I look forward to voting for you to continue on as our lobbyist, to continue doing what we
appreciate
need to at the state. And I plan to go up and march with you again.
Okay,
And see
great.
our folks and keep our voices forward, so
That's
they'll
right.
take care
It's
of us.
important.
Yeah,
Yep.
they'd rather see you than me, for
Well,
sure.
thank you. That's
see
all
me
I
all
wanted to
the
do was
time.
just
Yeah.
publicly thank you for
thank
what
you.
you've done for all of us here in Destin.
So now you know when you call Heffley and Associates, it's either one
I'm
of us.
Employee of the Month this
Yeah,
month.
Yeah, so this is what you get if you call the number. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you,
Anything
guys.
else? Thank you so much.
Yep. All right, and with that, we'll get into the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the consent?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
With a motion and second, any discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote for 3A through D. Get on to the main event. Why are you guys laughing? Come on. All right, 6-0, so moved. All right, Ms. Kopp.
Thank you, Mayor. Our first public hearing is 4A, and our only public hearing. It's ordinance 2620 LC, an ordinance of the City of Destin, Florida, approving the uniform method for involuntary annexation of certain real property totaling 2,076 and .095 acres, containing all unincorporated land lying east and south of Choctawhatchee Bay, located in Okaloosa County, Florida, as more specifically described herein. Amending the city charter by redefining the corporate limits of the City of Destin, directing the city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate this annexation, directing the city clerk to file a copy of this ordinance with the clerk of the circuit court in Okaloosa County, the chief administrative officer of Okaloosa County, and the Florida Department of State within 30 days after adoption, in accordance with Section 171 Florida statutes, providing a conflicts clause, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. This is first reading, Mayor.
Thank you. And I'm going to do something very odd and gub it up here, so please give me a couple minutes. For the neighbors, I wanted to let you guys know this was an idea that I've had to bring us all together as one Destin. But I also want to make sure that you guys know that I've also already have failed this council and you guys for not getting in front of this and getting into your communities and figuring out what the win-win situation could be. The last thing that I believe most of us want, but I'll speak for myself and say I'm basically a libertarian. The last thing that any of us want is more government. The last thing that anyone wants is more taxes. But the one thing that made me want to stick my neck out here on a very unpopular conversation is the idea of what we could do if we did it together. And so the part that I have failed is getting in front of you guys and figuring out what you guys want, what you guys need, how can we offset HOA fees, what are some safety and public health issues that we can address together, and the idea being to come up with an idea for us in a project or projects of a list to vote on. And again, if we get that whole list together and it's still a horrible idea, it was only just a conversation. The last thing that I've ever wanted, the last thing that I wanted was to rush something, push something through, and try to do what every other government that it seems like in America does, which is try to pull a fast one on the taxpayers. So please know that this is not something that benefits us. We're all volunteers. We all have day jobs or retired. And the last thing that this benefits is us, or me. Again, what got me excited about this idea is the multiplier effect, again, almost through what we just saw as a presentation of there's tools that government have that HOAs don't. There's levers that government can pull that individual citizens can't. And that is the only reason that got me excited to even bring up and introduce this kind of topic. I'm well aware that on its face, it's a horrible idea. Without getting into your neighborhoods, you getting into our books, us getting into yours, there's no way that this is a good idea. And I'm well aware to lead with the blunt truth first. But I also believe if you allow me to work with you guys and do the work over the next 2 years, and at least come up with what we could offer. Then we could at least vote on a plan, good or bad, that we know exactly what's in front of us. I would never ask for a penny without thinking that we could give you dollars in exchange. And so with that, I'm going to open up the floor for public comments, but please know that I'm going to be asking this council, once we get through, to push this to the 2028 cycle, and even then, we would start this whole process over again. This isn't about us trying to keep anxiety in your guys' back door for 2 more years. This is a plea and an ask for me to give me the time to do what I promised this council to do, which I had already blundered because we all got day jobs and we all got things going on. So again, I can't wait to hear everyone's comments. We are well aware of all the emails, thank you. Sometimes this council even asks, why isn't there more public participation? You guys got enough public participation now? So please, just know I'm up here trying to visually show that this is an ask as your neighbor, not as government. I'm gonna go back to the dais and play the government role, but I'm asking you to give us 2 more years to see if there's even an option of benefit. And if not, let's all vote no and know that we now understand what each and every one of us need, and we can find other ways to make that happen. There's multiple levels of government. We're all under Okaloosa County. There's other constituents that we can go and help each other with collectively. But there's also a benefit of being a part of the city that I believe I've learned over the past 4 years. And I want to share that with you guys and see if the cost outweigh the benefit or vice versa. Again, this is not a personal project. It's just we all got into these roles because we want to help our community. At least that's exactly what I did. And there's no benefit in bringing up hard conversations. This probably hurts if I wanted to climb the political ladder. I'm probably targeted now as the kid who wanted to raise your taxes. I don't really care about my political future because quite frankly, before this job, I wanted to be a band director. I had no problem not being in politics. But the reality is, I just want you guys to know we mess up, but all government messes up. But what I can promise you and what this board, I've seen through this board, I'm not a voter, is that when we do mess up, we listen, we pivot, and we change. When people have ideas, we listen, we budget, and we fix. And with all of these people here tonight, you are my neighbors, you are Destinites, whether the government lines in the sand say it or not, and we are community operators, we're business owners, and without you guys, we're not destined. This is just an invitation to start a conversation, and with that, I'll put this mic down and get you guys to come up, and I would love to hear you guys' opinions, perspectives, and things that we need to work on, but just know that I'm going to be begging, and I hope they go with me here, to push this so that we can actually have an earnest conversation and see if there's even benefits to be voted on. So with that, thank you all so much for your time. Thank you for showing up in numbers. Sometimes it's very easy to think that people have given up on government because the federal, the state, the city, and the county give us reasons every day to give up on government. But while some people might see this is a crowd and this is scary and all that, I see that there is still hope in democracy, that the people still care about where they live, and their wallet, their community, and their neighbors still mean something to each other. So I just appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to hear your opinions. And I can't wait, if given the opportunity by this council, to truly meet you guys where you guys live and see what we can do for you. Not for the sake of growing government, but for the sake of helping our community and our neighbors out. And if we're not the answer, we're all under Okaloosa County, we'll go bang down their door together. So that's all I ask is, we're going to be open ears, and I hope that you can at least give us the same open ears to see if this is even a good idea. Like again, I get it on the face value. This is a horrible idea. No one's hiding that. So with that, I'm going to open up the public comments. We'll start in the front here, and we'll go around. We're going to do 3 minutes. I just need your name and address. If you can be not brief, but to the point. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people here. I will sit here all night and listen to each and every one of you if we need to. But I can promise one thing, we have heard you loud and clear online, on emails, in person, at the coffee shops, and at my fireside chats. So I believe we understand where you guys are at, but by all means, this is a republic democracy, and with that, you have a voice, and we'd love to hear it.
Oh, great.
All right, name and address, and the floor is yours.
Mike Uyghur, 4083 Drifting Sand in the unincorporated section of Okaloosa County, just next to the Destin city limits. Hey, let me ask a question. Is it possible to poll the council on what you're going to say as far as putting it out 2 years? That way we can kind of clear the room and you don't have to listen to everybody since it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Ms. Cobb?
Guys, for that?
Yeah. Because it's a public hearing, there is about just a state statutes that we are governed under. So just if there's anything we can,
We're required to have a public hearing, okay? Y'all wouldn't even be able to make your decision without hearing everybody. However, if you want to talk about how you feel about it first, and then give the opportunity for public hearing, and maybe less people or more people will want to speak, you can do that, but we will have a public
That would be
hearing
great if you could discuss it
before the
first.
decision.
yes, I appreciate that. No, and.
If I get my time back.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Yes, thank you. No, thank you for that. So, Councilwoman Aber, how do you feel, not vote?
I feel like the mayor, as well as all of us here on council, have gotten enough information from those of you that live in the unincorporated neighborhoods, and that your intent was buying and not being incorporated. You didn't look at it as this is going to be part of the city of Destin. You knew what you were doing when you bought where you bought. I agree with the mayor. We've heard you loud and clear. Maybe get more information on the big benefits of what it is for the city as far as the head count when we go after big dollars from the state, what the head count matters versus the 14,000 we have right now is really not a very big number when we go ask for support. But I'm in agreement with the mayor of probably moving this to 2 years.
All right, anyone else want to jump in? Councilman Braden?
No, I just want to say real quick that I agree with the mayor 100% in what he just said.
Thank you, sir. We'll go down the list, go down the list, yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, you can see this crowd right here. I mean, I think waiting 2 years is a good idea.
Thank you. All right, Councilman Destin, anything? You can say, I told you so, I think is what he's going to say. The man of wisdom, the youth didn't listen to the wisdom, I can assure you that.
Yeah. I would never say that to you, Bobby.
I appreciate it.
But we do this about every 15 years. The result's been the same every time. I want to listen to what the public has to say, but as far as saying we're going to do this again in 2 years, not real in favor of that. And because mainly because anytime 4 members on this council want to go forward with this again, they can do that in 2 years, in 10 years, in 2 weeks. So setting it off arbitrarily to 2 years without saying that, you know, the council's in favor in 2 years. Also, you know, there's a silly state law that says you can't tie the hands of a future council and tell them what they shall do. I would think we would run afoul of that. So we will get to that debate after we've heard what the folks have to say. But I would point out that the 2 year, the council can bring it up anytime they want.
Perfect. All right, thank you, sir.
I'm willing to listen, but I happen to side with Mr. Destin. We were here when we did this before, and it didn't go anywhere. So the one thing I would like for you to say is, instead of no, what can you do to help us? Because Ms. Aber is correct. Every time we go for a grant, we only have 14 people in our city. We're chopped up at 14,000. We're chopped up 14,000. We chopped up all over the place. We get comments, believe it or not, from your communities. What happened when the helicopter pad went in? I mean, this room was full, and we had to say, I'm sorry, we can't do anything about it.
Don't have enough people.
We don't. So those kinds of things we need to start looking at as a big community, not just your neighborhood, my neighborhood, somebody else's neighborhood. As a big community, it affects every one of us. And those kinds of things we need to work on. And I'm not opposed to working on that with you. And I'd like to hear those kinds of comments as well as the no annexation comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Councilman Morgan?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just was put up here about 3 months ago, so I was unaware that the mayor had done this, but y'all are very good at emailing. Good job there. I want to support it tonight. I don't think I would support it in 2 years. Mayor, I do commend you for getting up here and addressing these folks. I think you did a good job. And if you want to talk to these people about solutions, that's your prerogative, but I don't support it tonight, and I don't think I'll support it in 2 years.
All right, thank you. And with that, you guys can make up your own tally in your head if you're keeping up with that. But with that, we'll open the floor if you want to start back up. Thank you, sir. No need for name and address, but the floor is yours. Oh, just hit that gray button, I'm sorry. Yep, pesky.
All right, thank you. Just a couple of comments. I've been dealing with this for a while. Y'all may have seen this folder come across your emails. And I'd like to say that everybody I've worked with at the city on the staff has been real friendly. They've been open. Anything I've asked them, they've helped me with. Commissioners, I've talked to some of them individually, and they've been helpful too. Without going into a lot of details about what was done wrong about this, you guys have got it on the emails. You can read it. I don't need to go through it and beat anybody up. The one thing I would say is with Councilman Dewey Destin's ideal, I had the same ideal as instead of extending it to table it, to make a motion to table it and let's be done with it. Because and then, like I said, I'm willing to help you. Come to the neighborhoods and then let's start over from scratch. That way you don't have any of this baggage, that's on there. Okay, I'm short.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the front row? I'll just kind of grow back. Please. Just hit that gray button on the middle. Name and address.
Nancy Brooke, 497 Regatta Bay Boulevard in Regatta Bay. I just wanted a point of clarification. When I heard Ms. Kopp read the resolution or ordinance, I heard a word that jumped out at me, and I didn't want to know what it meant. I heard involuntary annexation. Could you talk to us about that, please?
Would you like me to answer?
You're the lawyer.
I have to answer the council. So there's two types of annexations in Florida statutes. There's a voluntary procedure where the public petitions the city, and then there's this other procedure that we were talking about, which they call involuntary as compared to the petition procedure, but in reality, it's not entirely involuntary because it does require a referendum vote, and so it is majority rules. However, I guess if you're on the side of the minority, the side if you don't want to be annexed and the majority votes to be annexed in, it would be involuntary for you.
But would that majority be within Regatta Bay and Kelly, for instance? Or, I mean, Destin is always going to have the majority over
I understand your question.
Groups.
It's a majority of the people being annexed in.
Okay.
So in this case, since the city did it as one whole group of properties, all 2,000 plus acres would either be in or out. If the city had done separate annexation votes for different neighborhoods, then it could have been neighborhood by neighborhood, but the city did not do it that way for this one.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, anyone else? All right. Yes, sir. Yep. It's that gray button in the middle. In that face, yep. Name and address, and the floor is yours.
I'm Duke Eliason. I'm at 227 Diamond Cove. I'm on the board for Diamond Cove, or Diamond Lake. And the one thing I loved hearing the fact that y'all were talking about putting this off for a couple of years so we can try to work some things out. My biggest concern is if you look around this room, you'll see there's a lot of retired people in here. Some of them are more well off than others. We're already dealing with HOAs, so what we have to try to figure out is how, if you annex us, how can that annex, what can you offer to help us lower those HOAs to help offset some of those destined taxes that we're going to have to end up paying? All right, so that's my biggest concern, and I hope that y'all will end up pushing this off so we can try to all work together to try to figure out how, if you want to annex. I understand the idea of having the large amount, the larger city, to be able to get the grants. But the idea is, how do we also protect those that are on fixed incomes? All right,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. That was great. All right. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Charles Rigdon, 300 Stillwater Cove, and I'm a 28-year resident of Kelly Plantation, and I'm currently the president of the Kelly Plantation Owners Association. And I'm here today on behalf of our board of directors and a majority of our homeowners of Kelly Plantation to respectfully state that our community has no interest in being annexed into the city of Destin. We are a self-sufficient neighborhood governed by our own recorded declaration of covenants and restrictions. And our homeowners association provides and maintains assets in our community as it has for the last 30 years. Our residents chose Kelly Plantation precisely because of the privacy, the high standards, and the community control that our HOA delivers. The services we receive from the county, Destin water users, the Destin Fire District, and Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department, combined with the services that we personally fund and manage ourselves through our HOA assets, have been entirely satisfactory, and annexation would not improve our quality of life. For many of our homeowners, this would translate into hundreds, and in most cases, thousands of additional dollars in annual property taxes, with no clear improvement in services they already receive or fund privately. Beyond the tax increases, annexation would add another layer of city codes, permits, and enforcements on top of our existing well-established HOA architectural guidelines and covenants. And our community already maintains high standards without the city's intervention. We see no advantage in replacing or duplicating that successful system with additional bureaucracy. And finally, perhaps, and the most important to me, is in the last 18 months, when the city has started this particular issue, no one from the city of Destin has ever contacted Kelly Plantation HOA to discuss the possibility of annexation and to explain any potential benefits or to hear directly from our board or our residents. There's been no outreach, no dialogue, no opportunity to have a meaningful conversation before this process advances into a public hearing. So in closing, on behalf of Kelly Plantation HOA, we'd like to stay exactly how we are, and we have no desire to change. Thank you.
President Rigdon. Or should I say Mayor Rigdon? Is it Mayor Rigdon? It sounds like Mayor Rigdon with that clapping.
Yeah.
I hear you, and every point you brought up is valid. The only thing I want to push back on is on February 27th of 2024, we emailed each other where you said you wanted nothing, you didn't want to hear me out, you didn't want to meet. So the only thing I will push back on is I tried to reach out to you. I tried to have a conversation. I would have loved to meet your board in 2024. Everything else, 100% true. Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else?
Do I need to push the button? Or is it
It's already on, ma'am. So
Okay. I'm Carolyn Dietzen, and I live at 4307 Breakwater Drive.
can you push, this thing moves? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, how's this?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Carolyn Dietzen. I live at 4307 Breakwater Drive. And the one thing I have not heard addressed is how well, the Florida Constitution, as I read it, will allow homeowners or property owners with 160 acres to have a homestead exemption, okay? Once it becomes, that property becomes a municipality by annexation, the property owners will be limited in their homestead exemption to half an acre. I happen to own a large piece of property in Kelly Plantation. And so it's my understanding under the Constitution of Florida that my homestead exemption rights will be limited. And I'm not a Florida lawyer, so I'm just reading what I read on the Sunshine website. And so I thought that was an important issue for y'all to address if you come to talk to us. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Meredith Bush. My address, 314 South Balin Street, Pensacola, Florida, 32502. I'm here representing Kelly Plantation Owners Association. I know you've just heard from our president, or the group's president. However, I'm here as legal counsel. We recently sent you a relatively lengthy report outlining all of the statutory problems with this attempt. It's our position that it would be inappropriate to bring this back in 2 years for many reasons. So we would be asking that the council completely withdraw the ordinance, take no further action or advance this in any way, and no action at this point in time to reschedule. If the city wants to build relationships with the community, build the relationships. You know, because you took an action 2 years ago, that's why you're here now with 2 years of no communication with the neighborhood. In this effort, the city has fallen woefully short of meeting the statutory requirements. Your own documents, not even the acreage, stay the same. You've got a character study with 2,100 acres, feasibility study with 2,083, the ordinance with 2,076, with a 2.12 margin to meet a statutory requirement. As of July, your own city attorney was asking the supervisor of elections how to identify the non-elector owners to meet a 70% rule. Yet here you are, your citizens are out here having to take their time, their effort, their energy, and learning that you've done nothing, or at least fallen woefully short of doing anything to inform them of the action, to participate, to transparently act before bringing them into your community. I don't live in Destin. I love coming over to Destin. It's a beautiful area, beautiful group of people. However, the law applies in Destin as well as in the county. And so on behalf of the community, we would ask that you drop this. One thing I would note is the idea that you would expend public funds to offset private costs or benefits or HOA fees. Again, that's something you need to ask your city attorney as to whether or not that's even allowed. Public funds for public purpose, true engagement with the community, and if you do bring this back, bring it back brand new, setting this, saying today that 2 years from now you're going to come back is completely inappropriate. I agree with Mr. Destin's recitation of the law. You can't bind a future board. You can't tell that board in 2 years what they should do. And so the idea that you're going to decide today to do anything other than completely dismiss this, drop it. If you want to continue your investigation, your relationship building, we welcome it. However, anything more than that, I think you'll face challenges not only here publicly, but in a court of law.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, John Love, 267 Champion Court in Kelly Plantation. Mayor and council, in a time when Governor DeSantis is trying to reduce our property taxes, you're trying to hit us with an involuntary annexation, which maybe is being deferred, maybe kicked down in the future, that will result in a fairly substantial increase. And let's talk about the numbers, because at this point, the arithmetic just doesn't work for anybody that I know. If your home is a $750,000 assessed home with homestead exemption, your rates will go up if we pay the same tax rate as everybody else in Destin by about $900 a year. On a $1 million house, that's $1,300 a year. On a $1.5 million house, that's almost $2,000 a year. And on a $2.5 million house, that's over $3,000 a year. I'm sorry, it doesn't add up for a boat ramp and some parking passes. Love the Christmas parade, love the Destin sign, love being part of the community, but the arithmetic just flat doesn't work. And Mayor, using the term "pay your fair share," which I think I've seen in some of your comments.
No, sir.
Well, it certainly doesn't work, because it's not, you're asking us to pay your bills for your infrastructure, for your future development plans, et cetera. So I resoundingly say, no, thank you. In Kelly Plantation, you won't be paving our roads. You won't be mowing our grass in our common areas. You won't be maintaining the recreational equipment, the pools, et cetera, which we already manage. But we will be subject to the Destin permitting regime, inspections, and we'll be able to engage with your code compliance people. Again, no thank you. Bigger government never, in my experience, leads to lower taxes or a better service level for the community. It's just more bureaucracy, more red tape, and assessments. Thank you for your time. I hope we never have to go through this hearing again.
Thank you, sir.
I had it on. Sorry about that. Kevin Kennedy, 214 Baywinds Drive, Destin. That'd be the Emerald Bay community, or the Okaloosa part of the Emerald Bay community. Little wacky out there, but you know, I agree with what every one of my other HOA folks have said here. By the way, I'm the president of the Baywinds HOA, of which there's 3 in Emerald Bay. You guys figure it out. We never did. But I also agree with whoever said it before about the fact that, and I have to disagree a little bit with my other buddies here, it's not all about money. Yeah, he's absolutely right. You look at it on paper, it doesn't add up. But that's why we need to talk to you. We need to sit down. We need to understand not just the money. We got the money figured out. It don't work. It's never going to work. Quick question. Destin taxes, does that take care of garbage pickup in the taxes? Or is
In the
that billed
taxes, no.
separate?
No, we would share
okay.
waste
So
management.
then it definitely doesn't work. I
Yeah.
was going to give you a little clutch. I was going to give you a
90 a
little
quarter.
bit. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But what does work is 1,500 more people into the voice of Destin into Tallahassee. So that's where you guys got to put that pitch together of what's in it for all of us, not just what's in it for us. You know, we got there's nothing in it for us part figured out. You guys got to come sell us in how does it help Destin, which ultimately helps us.
Absolutely.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No, go forward.
Just hit that gray button. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Patty Scollard, 443 Captain Circle, Regatta Bay. I wanted to say just a few things that other people haven't yet said. Number one, I agree with Mr. Destin about not waiting 2 years. All that's going to do is give all of us a chance to sell our houses in the next 2 years. Because we moved from another county, you can imagine what county that was overseeing way too much. And the reason we moved to Okaloosa was for the freedom and the liberties in a private neighborhood that we have without being code compliance to death. And cops, don't get me wrong, I am the biggest blue person in the world, but we don't want them hiding in our neighborhoods, which is what they were doing in the other counties. So that's one thing I was going to say. The other thing, I was going to back up the person that said this room is full of a lot of retirees, including myself. We don't have an extra $2,000 sitting around to give to Destin. But the main point is all of these building and use fee examples. Right now, if we want to remodel our home, we pay for the remodeling of our home. We're going to pay a portion of a fee to Destin to remodel our home, to take out a tree, to clear some land, to put in an alarm system. But the biggest thing is re-roofing a house. So for example, my size house would cost $100,000, and I would be paying Destin almost $9,000 for the privilege of re-roofing my house. We don't have that kind of money, and I don't want to speak for everyone else, but a lot of other retirees on fixed income don't have that extra $9,000. We can barely put a roof on. With our fixed income, we have to budget for that. So I was going to ask you, are people already paying that currently? Okay, and the second point is setbacks. This is huge. A lot of people in Regatta Bay do not meet the setback requirements for Destin. We're grandfathered in unless it's a national disaster like a hurricane, which we're about to experience this week. We cannot rebuild on our current setbacks if there's a natural disaster like a hurricane. We can rebuild if something happens to our property like a fire. But if a hurricane comes and wipes out our house, our pool, or anything, we go from a 10-foot setback to a 25-foot setback. We would have to walk away from our home, as would a lot of other people. And especially in Regatta Bay, there's houses already positioned on that 25-foot setback. And I would like your thoughts on that, too.
Thank you. For right now, in the respect of everyone, I'm happy to email you and we can get planning involved, but I don't want to create a back and forth dialogue and turn this into a big, so I'm not answering your question. If you can get with Dr. Tamara Young right there, I'd love to get your number, your email, whatever, and we would absolutely answer anything that we can answer for you.
Can you just answer on the setbacks? Is that true about the national?
Would we be able to create a zone over them that's not set? I mean, it gets very detailed very quickly, and I would hate to give you a wrong answer or a good answer.
If that's set in stone or something that can be discussed?
Yeah.
It is something that could be discussed if you actually were annexed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like it's headed that way.
Yeah.
My only other question is everyone in the city of Destin already paying all these fees?
Yes, if there are fees in the schedule, yes, ma'am.
So if they have a tree taken out, they pay the city of Destin to have that?
If it's large enough, if it's a large tree, yes, ma'am.
Because I have the whole list of everything.
And I will answer each and every one of them, and I can talk after with you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Hi, thank you. My name's Daniel Frankfurt. I live at 336 Kelly Plantation Drive. I also own a property in Regatta Bay. I own some businesses here in the city of Destin as well. Coming here, I was going to ask you guys to table this. I thought that giving us more time would be appropriate. I'm an attorney by training. I've been trying to do my due diligence to try to figure out if this in fact benefits me as a citizen or not. I attended a meeting with the mayor where he had a little fireside talk. I've been reading the literature sent out by Regatta Bay and Kelly Plantation and trying to make my own decisions on what I think is best for the community. One thing that I do really believe is that I don't like being on the sideline here in Kelly Plantation as far as what goes on in the city of Destin. I don't like not having a voice in what happens in our city. And I think that the idea that we get nothing in exchange for this tax overlooks a fundamental value that we have here in the United States and the right to vote. And for our ability to vote in what happens here in Destin, I think is very important. I also think that the ability for us to participate in government is very important. When I first moved here in 2008, I was on the Park and Recreation Committee with Lance Johnson and moved my way up to vice president. And when I moved to Regatta Bay, I was kicked off the committee because I was an unincorporated Destin. So you say, what can we do different if this can't work and there's not a way for us to be a part of the city? If there's maybe a way to get us involved in government through volunteerism so that we can be a part of various committees because we care about the city of Destin. And, you know, I think that Kelly Plantation, Regatta Bay, a great community, we have a lot of great and successful people. We have retired doctors, Fortune 500 company. And no disrespect to all of you, but imagine the pool of people that we can choose from to now sit and help the future of Destin. These people who are here who are so passionate about their homes, they can be passionate about our community. We can draw from their experience and their business leadership to make us a better community. So I think some of those things are significantly overlooked in what, in fact, we can get by being a part of the city. I also believe that currently our tax money is going to the county. And what I see is that the county doesn't care about us in unincorporated Destin. They allow new hotels to be developed right on Danny Werfel with a pool right hundreds of yards away from a middle school. Who knows what type of creeps are going to be over there? We have other hotels that are being built. With the city's planning, we can try to avoid those type of situations and create a city that really is for everybody.
Last point, zeroed out.
The last point is, you know, in the fireside talk, I did hear a lot about what this can mean for the future of Destin. And Destin's been around for 42 years, and I plan on having grandkids here, like many of these people here have grandkids. And, you know, the money that we can generate through additional revenue and through help from the federal government can be astronomical. And the numbers that I've heard of about $2.4 million in taxes from these communities, $800,000 from the federal government, and then a multiplier of 4.8 brings about $17 million to this city every year. Over 50 years, that's $500 million that we can use to improve the city of Destin. And I understand people are passionate about living here now, but we have to think about future generations. And if there's a way that we can make this work, I would like to work with you guys to be involved in the local government and see what we can do to make the city of Destin the best place to live in. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else? Oh, yes.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Rogers. I'm an attorney at Dunlap and Shipman. And just for the record, I want to let you know on whose behalf I'm here today. Commons Village East Limited, Commons Village West Limited, Destin Commons Limited, Destin Commons Arts and Entertainment Association, Inc., Destin Commons Phase 3 LP, Destin SES Hotel LP, and Rack Road System Association, Inc. Obviously, this meeting has taken a huge turn that some of us didn't expect. So I just want you to know that we also have very serious concerns about the feasibility study and statutory compliance of what has been proposed. I'm not sure of the procedural mechanism, but we'd like to see that you also withdraw, terminate, vote against, whatever the proper mechanism is to stop this now and not proceed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
What do you think, grandson?
Say that again.
I'm an old guy. I really want to talk to the people in this room. Can you hear me? As well as you people, because it's going to be decided by a vote. but I've heard a lot of things that are kind of misleading being stated. And one of them is that you can regulate HOA fees and bring them down. You can't, because Statute 720 of Florida does that, and you cannot override that. And I don't, that just can't happen in my unlawyerly opinion. I'm wondering, I'm obviously not for this. This is one of the worst ideas I've heard, and I've heard some bad ones. Hey, Mike. Mike and I did a lot of work at the county. They're actually very good to work with. And we didn't always get the outcome we wanted, but in any event, I don't know why this would benefit Bob Shelton at 224 Calusa Boulevard, which I failed to mention. I don't know what the infrastructure for the water system will be. Will it be Destin water users, or will it still be Walton County? So what I'm saying is we're doing just fine, and we have quiet neighborhoods. The neighborhood decides what the fees will be by electing the board who makes the budget. So the people get to do that. The city doesn't do that even inside the city. I mean, you don't have that power. And we elect, they make a budget, and that sets the fees. Now, they can be voted out, and they can be pushed back on, and they can be held accountable for money that they spend that is not in the budget. So I think this is a scare tactic to people that you're going to all of a sudden get rid of HOA fees and property taxes. And that's about all there is to say about it. I like you, Guy. You make a good speech.
From the heart. It might be a bad idea, but it was an idea.
Well, I couldn't find anything wrong with it, and I don't find anything wrong with not expanding or bringing me into the city. I see no benefit to me. And I would say that if you think it through, there's no benefit.
You can address them. I just need you closer to the mic.
There's no benefit
Sir.
to us.
Sir. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Yes, sir. Oh, come on. We got 3 more hours. Where you guys going?
My name's David Long, and I live at 282 Corinthian Place in Destin. That's in Regatta Bay. The mayor here kind of blew up everything I wrote, so I'm just going to make a few comments. Prior to moving to Florida, I spent 8 years as a school director, elected. And during that time, we shut down 3 elementary schools, consolidated, and raised taxes 30%, and I'm still alive. I was also on a municipal authority where we had whatever we need to do to fund the water and sewer systems. The thing that's missing here, when I was reading through, because the comment was made by Mr. Destin at the meeting where it was tabled, we need to do an outreach program, okay? Whatever you do need to do an outreach program, okay? The last thing I would add is I'm the creator and administrator of the Regatta Bay Proud Facebook group, 383 people in that group, and they must own property within Regatta Bay. I will be glad to assist you and the council in disseminating information, getting opinions through surveys, because we need knowledge. So I guess what I'm saying is, whatever you do, we still need to do outreach. And the gentleman said, we got great people in Regatta Bay. We can't get engaged. We're like in a little bubble. So there's a lot of things where people could add value, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else? No one else? All right. Make sure we don't lose anyone.
Good evening. Vincent Aspromonte, 459 Captain Circle, Regatta Bay. I am a newbie. I am here 8 weeks.
Welcome.
I've had enough anxiety moving from the north, where my values did not match, which is why I left. And I've known that since 6th grade, when they actually used to teach American history and other fundamental things that we all need to know to make appropriate decisions as adults. I've worked very hard in my career to get where I am, to be able to afford to live here. And one thing I'm able to do very quickly, and what my job entails, is sizing up people within a matter of 30 seconds to know if they'll fit my organization. I could tell you this, in my newbie experience here, does not fit Regatta Bay, Kelly Plantation, or any of the other private communities in the area to become annexed involuntarily into the city of Destin. So I am opposed to it. I'd love to meet with you and hear you out. You do have some charisma, so you probably have more of a future in politics than you think. But, well, if you make the right decision, and just dropping this nonsense, just leave us be. That's all I want to say.
All right, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I didn't want to speak prematurely. My name is Mike Schatz. I reside at 1193 Emerald Bay Drive here in Destin. I've been a resident of the area where I live now for going on 14 years. I was at your fireside chat, and I appreciated the time that you spent with us trying to explain, and I think your overall reason for doing this is very altruistic. And I think that's wonderful, but I do see this, and as I told you, that I thought it was gravely putting the cart before the horse, because all of the different HOAs have their inherent issues and problems that they deal with on an individual basis, most of which they do a pretty good job at. There are some things that are needed that perhaps the city could help with. However, I think going about this manner of a gross amount of territory being annexed under one proposal is a mistake. And I think, as I told you, you need to go and understand with the individual HOAs what their positive aspects are and where there are areas that perhaps the city might be able to provide some relief. If you did that and had a resolution that would allow for the individual HOAs to vote, because some of the HOAs may not be all that effective, and we've seen things in the news about overreach by HOAs and problems where HOAs have dissolved. This would perhaps allow you to annex on an individual area basis without incorporating all of the HOAs. Because once you're annexed, you're annexed. You can't get out. So I didn't want this to be a situation of kind of taxation without representation, and that's exactly what it would be if my community, for example, where I'm in Emerald Bay, we decided we didn't want this, but 2 or 3 other HOA neighborhoods decided to, we would be locked in. So I just think that would take care of that. I think that it needs to be rewritten in such a fashion that each of the individual areas, when you approach this, hopefully not for a while until the fact-finding is in, for what you guys can provide, the individual areas you care to annex. Then it should be a proposal to allow those individuals as their own collective groups to vote on whether or not they want to be part of the city. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Great idea. All right, anyone else? All right, seeing none, last call. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion for the floor.
I make a recommendation, we cancel this option of annexation.
Right, do I have a motion? I have a motion.
I was going to make a motion.
Yeah.
I was going to move that the city council table the proposed annexation ordinance 2620-LC, period.
All right, I have a motion and second to table. My only discussion would be, I've heard you all, and actually, a lot of you have wonderful ideas that I wish I had the time to hear a year ago on this. So with that, with a table, would that bar the staff from after I go? Because regardless, when it seems like this dies, I still want to make a promise to you guys that I still want to hear you guys out, regardless if we're moving forward or not, because I genuinely believe we're all on this sandbar together. Put government aside. I'll leave out the expletive, but screw government. Like, we can still work together either way. So would tabling still be okay for me to work and hear them out on an individual basis?
No, not unless council explicitly gives the city manager that authority.
Not in an official capacity? Not in an official capacity, but as Bobby Wagner, mayor, you can talk to anybody you want to.
Okay. No, because I still want to, even with this done, I still want to fulfill the obligation
Ms.
or
Kopp,
promise.
you have a comment on that? That is a
Yeah,
fine line.
I don't want Bobby to, we've had issues before where if the mayor goes out and does something against the vote of a council, it's not always the best thing. So I think it would be better if council gave the city manager authority or not for staff to keep working on it.
And it wouldn't be
And make
working-
it clear.
Yeah,
Because
not
with a table,
on.
nobody's going to be working on anything unless council tells the city manager that that's okay.
And that would be, I take the direction the motion is in.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Then I will pursue this in a personal capacity of going on a listening campaign.
We're not clear. Can you, is staff to work on it or not work on it?
They don't
If
need
it's
to work
ta-
on it.
if-
motion
if
is
the
it's on
motion
the-
was to table it, which
And as
means
long as-
staff, if it passes, staff doesn't do anything.
That's what
regarding
we
it.
thought.
Exactly.
As long as
it's on
the Good.
table. Thank you.
Yeah, and with staff not working on it, it would just be me going out and talking to them and hearing them out. That's all good? Yeah, that's where the motion's at.
As long, Bobby, I think the key is that you're,
Guys, I give you guys plenty of respect, but I will be stern. There is a decorum about this. Thank you.
I think the key to it is you don't advocate a position.
Okay? No, I just want to respect this council and work truly within the bounds without overstepping, because we are a team, and I do care about listening to them.
A listening campaign only, Bob.
I hear you loud and clear. All right, any other discussions?
There is no discussion on the motion to table.
It's tabled.
Oh, good call. That's right. All right, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it unanimously, so moved.
Have a good night.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
So where's happy hour?
Yeah. All right, everyone. We're left with the people that are inside the city, right? City folks? All right, good deal. All right, we will move on. All right, city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Item 5A is establishing the FY '27 tentative millage rate and budget public hearing dates. Your Finance Department has received the certified 2026 taxable values, which increased by 1.37% over the last year. Staff recommends setting the tentative millage rate at 1.615, which is slightly above the rollback rate of 1.6044 for a 0.66% increase. This will support the inflationary operating costs, infrastructure renewal, capital improvements, and planned service levels for the FY '27 budget. So what we're asking tonight is to set the tentative millage rate and include the budget hearings of September 8th of 2026 at 6 p.m. and the final budget hearing of September 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. And then at your discretion, your budget calendar included a optional workshop on Monday, August the 10th at 5:30 p.m. If there's a desire to continue with that. There's a couple of things that we will address with you probably at the last meeting in August. So we don't have anything new to present to you, but if that's something the council would like to do, just include that to either move forward with that or to cancel that meeting on August the 10th.
All right, thank you, sir. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm going to make it. I move the council set the tentative millage rate for ad valorem taxes at 1.615 mils, which is 0.66% more than the rollback rate of 1.6044 mils, and confirm the date and times of the public hearings for the fiscal year 2027 budget on September 8th, 2026 at 6 p.m. and September 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. And in addition, do we want to proceed with the I'm going to say to proceed with the optional budget workshop on Monday, August 12th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m.
All right, thank you, Councilman Stevens. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Yep, Councilman Destin. Any further discussion?
I would just note that that's the same millage rate we've had for quite a few years.
Over 10 years now.
Speaker, say it again.
I would note that that's the same millage rate we've had for quite a few years. How many?
Over 10 now.
Over 10.
Very good.
Yep, I think exactly 10 now, 2016, 2017. All right, with that, I see no further discussion. We will call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved. All right.
Thank you. Item 5B is regarding the technology fund and recommendation to change. Staff is recommending reducing the technology fund allocation from 10% to 5% of the applicable permit and licensing fees. The allocation was originally established to support permitting and development technology improvements, but with increased revenues, particularly from short-term rental registrations, we have provided sufficient funding to meet current and near future, certainly, technology needs. So our recommendation is that we move that from 10% back to 5%. That additional 5% will fund the building department and will give it a little more length of where it stays solvent. We anticipate it running in the red and over the next few years, but this will allow it to operate in the black for a longer period of time. And there's about $1 million in that technology fund now, and both IT and our permitting folks believe that's sufficient for at least the short term.
All right, thank you, sir. With that, is this the pass motion, Councilman Stevens? I might have the old one up here. I'll entertain a motion at this time. I'll look away from the screen. Motion?
I'll make the motion. I have a question, though.
Okay.
The question is, how much exactly in dollars is this going to transfer over to the other area?
I'm sorry.
How many dollars is this talking about from 5% to 10%? We're going to put the 5% over.
It's about $100,000 a year. That'll be split between go back to the general fund and through the building fund, and so they're,
Split in what manner? 50/50, 10, 20, 30?
Crystal, can you give a little better definition? Maybe a little more in the general fund than the building department?
That's correct. So this would keep about $50,000 a year in the building fund, which, by the way, is supposed to cover its own costs, but it's not quite covering its own costs right now. And it would put approximately $100,000 a year in the general fund, or it would keep it there instead of transferring it out.
So the two together are how much?
$150,000.
Okay, and that's going from 10% to 5%, right?
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Substantial amount.
And just for, when the fund was established, it was at 5%, that it increased to 10, 2 or 3 years later.
So we'll still have the 150 go into the technology, the other half of it, right?
That's correct.
All right, with that. Yep. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved, 6-0.
Next item is 5C, and this is dealing with House Bill 803, which was passed by the legislature and actually has been signed by the governor. It says that in the building department, we can no longer charge inspection fees based on cost of construction, that it has to be a standalone fee and a set amount. So we've calculated that number out, and we're looking at charging $80 per inspection. However, not all of our current permit fees were calculated that way, but the ones that had the permit fee included in the base permit fee, we're pulling that out so that we're reducing the base permit fees by those dollars. So anything less than $15,000 in construction cost will be a $5 fee and then $80 for each inspection. If it's a simple plumbing or HVAC job that needs one inspection, it'll be $5 plus the $80 inspection fee. It's net revenue neutral, not looking for increasing any revenue from it at all. So, and permit fees should remain about the same, maybe 1 or 2% up or down.
Thank you. Councilwoman Trammell?
I'll make the recommended motion. I move to adopt the Resolution 26-06, which changes the fee base for inspections to meet current Florida statute and to reduce the transfers out to the technology fund from 10% of the permit and licensing fees down to 5%.
Second.
Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the only thing I saw in here on the item report was on the third page at the bottom, where it talks about the, basically says the city can engage an outside firm for development review and at their discretion and charge the applicant the cost of that plus 10%. Is that true?
Yes, that's for development orders, like for outside consulting fees for like traffic studies and stuff like that. So
Stuff you have
that's
to
always
have.
been in there.
Yeah.
It's just down in the table, it wasn't clearly stated what it said in the summary above, so we just added that
But
language.
that's a standard for building
Yes.
departments to do that? Okay.
And in that line item that says administrative fee of 10%, not to be, I think, more than $200. So
Got it. And then one other question, and to that lady's point that was talking about the roof permits, how much would it cost someone in this city to re-roof right now for a $30,000 roof? What's the fee for that?
I would have to do a calculation. I could do it better off of $15,000.
Yeah, do
probably
15.
right now.
I think I have a permit in right now because I just got, hopefully they permitted it.
Yeah,
We're going to have other issues.
So, like, right now, about a roof permit, not counting some of the surcharges, but the base fee would run about $129.50.
And that includes an $80 inspection fee?
Well, no, because right now the $80 is included in that.
Got
You
it.
see what I'm saying? So when we change it, now that $15,000 roof permit will be $5 and then an $80 fee.
Got it, so not bad.
I think you forgot a couple zeros, but thank you.
Yeah.
Did she? Because, I mean, we're not charging $10,000 for permit fees for a roof.
Yeah. I got a new shingled roof, and it was all in at $14,750, and that included whatever permits they're going to deduct from that. Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it 6-0, so moved.
Thank you,
Man.
Mr. Mayor. Item 5D is Resolution 2616 in support of Home Rule and City Land Use Authority. The resolution you're being asked to consider was directed by the mayor and city council at a previous meeting, 2 or 3 meetings ago. I think at the recommendation of the League of Cities, I'd asked the mayor to move this forward, but we're recommending that you approve it. It reaffirms the city's support for municipal home rule authority and the ability of local governments to implement their adopted comprehensive plans, land use policies, zoning regulations, and development procedures. The resolution emphasizes the importance of local decision-making, respect for community priorities, and collaboration among governmental entities on growth management issues. If you approve this, we will transmit it to the state and local officials, including the governor, legislative leaders, Okaloosa County leaders, area municipalities, and the Florida League of Cities.
Oh, and municipalities. All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Mayor, I'll make the recommended motion. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-16, supporting local home rule and land use authorities.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and second. Any further discussions? Seeing none. Okay, with that, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved, 6-0, moves unanimously. Dr. Jones.
Well, Mayor,
Oh,
it's
nope.
actually me.
Ms.
Five.
Kopp.
That's okay. That's
Dr. Jones, your voice got very high.
Thank you. Resolution 2621, we talked about at the special meeting held on July 15th last week, where the City Council voted to initiate the Chapter 164 conflict resolution procedures in connection with the existing disputes between Okaloosa County and the City of Destin related to the state-acquired land in Holiday Isle in the City of Destin. State law requires that such initiation is made via passage of a resolution, so the city manager and myself have prepared this resolution 2621 for your consideration, and I went over this at the last meeting, but just for the record again, this process, if the resolution is passed tonight, within 5 days, the city manager and I will provide notice of it and a copy of it to the county and to the state. The county would be the necessary party. The state would have the opportunity to opt in or not. After that, there would be a 30-day period where the city and the county would meet in what's called the conflict assessment meeting. This would be a public meeting. It can be a meeting of both governing bodies, but the statute only requires for the first meeting the administrators of the city and the county, but again, in public. So we could work with the county on how to set those meetings up and who would actually attend. If the situation is not resolved at that first public meeting, there would be a second public meeting. This would be within 50 days, and it's 50 days of the resolution getting passed and the notice going out, not another 50 days. So within 50 days, we would have a joint public meeting between the City Council and the Board of County Commissioners. After that, if things are not resolved, there is a mediation. So again, this is not an adversarial process. There's no winner and loser. It is a negotiation in public. And that's what this resolution does. It also puts timelines on. So if you have any questions, please let me know. There's another part of this agenda item dealing with the letter to the state, but if we could just do the resolution first.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kopp. With that, Councilman Braden.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to authorize the city manager to execute a attached notice letter to the state, all cabinet members and FDEP reps for the direction of the city council on July 15, 2026.
Number one, we need to read.
Yep, that was the next one. but if you want to. I was on
I moved to
adoption
adopt
of Resolution
2621,
2621, but
to invoke
what you
the
just said
conflict.
would be part 2.
Okay. Resolution process provided for the Chapter 164 of the Florida statute.
All right, thank you. And with the first motion.
I'll second.
on that, all right, and I have,
I did.
yeah, Councilwoman Aber is on the floor. With that, any discussions? Come on.
Yeah, I sort of exhausted myself at the last meeting, but I agree with everything Mr. Vallinen said. I lost the vote. We would need someone from the prevailing side of the vote to re-raise the motion. But to Commissioner Palmer's point in his email, and legally there might indeed be a conflict, but they have not taken a vote yet. And so, you know, I think what we have in front of us now is, if I were to make a motion, and I'm not because I can't because I lost the vote at the last meeting, it would be to agree to what we discussed at last meeting, make them place it on the 8-4 agenda, take a vote. If it doesn't pass, we'll enter the conflict negotiation. If it does pass, get monthly, you know, at the 9-4 meeting, get an update from our city attorney and Larry on whether or not the process is going well. But I think we have it in front of us. If I had to guess, we will, and we go down this route, and it looks like we're going to, they'll probably come out of it with free parking, which is something that they could vote on 8-4 anyways, but.
All right, thank you for that. Councilman Destin.
According to our city attorney's latest interpretation of Robert's rules, you don't have to be on the prevailing side, I believe. Didn't we get that at one of the meetings?
That was probably the new addition. We don't
Well,
have-
that is the interpretation. So, Mr. Morgan, you could make the motion. Now, my question is, as you go to this unofficial administrative first meeting in this process, if we go forward with the process, at that point, that offer could be made and we would go straight to the meeting? Give me a uptick on how that happens.
I'm not sure if I
Okay.
understood your question. It is an official meeting. It's publicly noticed with 10 days advance public notice. And what was the question?
The question was, you discussed a meeting that you and the city manager could go to?
It's a public meeting. Anyone can go to it. I
It
said
is.
the statute requires at a minimum the administrator of the city and the county. So it'd be the city manager and the county administrator.
Okay, and then there's one that follows that if there is no
That is-
resolution?
That is the joint public meeting, they call it.
That's the one.
And that is with the entire city council and entire BCC, and y'all would choose the location.
Okay, so my question is, if we authorized you administrators to talk to their administrators and say the council has said that they will grant the parking, at that point, it could go straight back to the county commission meeting, correct?
Yes. I mean, they could do that. And there's nothing in this that stops them from doing that on August 4th. If Commissioner Palmer wants to do this on August 4th outside of this resolution, whether we pass it or not, he can put it on the August 4th.
He could.
Let's ask him to put it on the August 4th agenda right now. I mean, this doesn't stop anybody from doing that.
Right, if we had a vote that says we will in fact grant them the parking as a condition of them
It's
working
true,
with
but
us.
let me think who went. Councilmember Stevens, the city manager, and I each went to the last county commission meeting. And we asked them, yes, Councilmember Trammell was there, but us three spoke. You weren't allowed to speak. That's a joke. But we each asked the county to make a motion, and what we explained was, I understand that the city didn't accept one commissioner's idea, but perhaps if you voted as a board, it could affect the city's vote. And so we practically begged them to make a motion again, and they didn't. And so that's what I'm saying. There's nothing to stop anybody from doing that. The city doesn't have to vote first. And I want to point out that every single time the county asked us to do something, this council voted in public. You guys voted on the parking. You increased the parking for Commissioner Palmer at his request. You took it to the BCC after you all voted on what our city engineer prepared, and the BCC did not vote on it. And then the same thing happened with our request when we presented them with Resolution 2026-05, asking them to allow the city to lease and manage the property. They didn't vote on that either. They didn't even vote on the Shorebirds resolution. So the reason I recommended this was to stop dragging it out and to help the city get a vote of the BCC. If y'all think you don't need this and you can get the vote on August 4th, that would be great. But this just helps you get everybody in the room together. It is not adversarial. It is to facilitate discussion. So that's the reason that we got to this, not for adversarial reasons, but because we keep begging for a motion and haven't been able to get one.
Well, I get that part. The threat of this conflict resolution, though, they're going to, unless they just ignore the state law, they're going to have to vote. So under that threat, perhaps they would vote voluntarily, is the only point I'm making.
All right. My point, I think the only way we're going to get Commissioner Palmer's support is through, and he sort of told us explicitly, it's all parking. Whether that comes out in conflict resolution or it comes from us tonight and we give him the opportunity to be honest and prove that he wasn't telling the truth, because I do believe that Mr. Valentin got a text message from him that said, I will support this on 8/4 and put it on the agenda. And I understand that there's plenty of reasons not to trust the county. I get it, and I've said it, I've read the emails, I've gotten to the process, but I think politically what has happened is that, one, maybe they're realizing that they can't commercialize it, and two, I think they've realized just kind of how crazy, not in a bad way, but just how passionate we are about this, not just the council, but the public, to where before I was on this board, I didn't even have to talk to one of y'all up here to know exactly where y'all stood on it, because it was so deeply unpopular for the county to get it and do what they had planned with it. But I do think that I truly believe it'll be on their agenda on 8/4 if we approved what we discussed on Wednesday night, and it'll give them a chance to vote. And you know what, if they vote on it and then you've got to work out the details with Larry and Kim, I fully trust them to report back to us whether it's being done in good faith or they're still playing games. But if they do that and then we enter conflict resolution, we will be able to really look at the state and say, we've done everything the county's asked of us. We have been good actors throughout this process, and you know, they have, and they clearly haven't, and it's well documented in emails and in public records requests that they have not negotiated very well or acted well throughout this whole process. But you know what, we have, and so it does put us in better eyes with the state and our legislators that are helping to influence those decisions in Tallahassee. And I think we've got an opportunity to, on 8/4, to get it on their agenda. I think they will vote to approve it. What they do after that, it's not over. You know, do I trust them to follow through with it? No, but if they don't, then I think we have really good standing to say, you know what, like, screw off. We've tried really hard, and we put our necks out here, and we've done everything you've asked, and we're giving you a true county-wide benefit. And y'all have rejected it, and y'all aren't working with us. And I trust them to give us that update. And if we go the other route, I respect it. I completely understand where y'all are coming from. I haven't been a part of this board nearly as long throughout this process as y'all have. So I haven't experienced, you know, those workshops and the county commission meetings that y'all have been at. And so I haven't been as emotionally charged throughout this process. I'm trying to take a step back and thinking the best way for us to get that done. I think it's this path forward. If it's one of y'all's, like, you know, I respect it and I get it.
All right, thank you for that. Councilman Braden.
Thank you. I think, like the city attorney said, we have plenty. We've tried and tried and tried. We have plenty. This is just one more. Nothing's going to change, but I asked a question last time, is it going to be just that easy? We agree to the parking, they put it on their agenda, they pass it, and that's it. And Mr. Destin said, no, it's not going to be that easy. So if they do, if we pass this tonight and they still put it on their agenda and they pass it, then what? What's the next move? What happens then?
I would think that our staff would get with their staff and work out the details. You know, I mean, Larry or Kim, y'all can speak to it, but, you know.
What would have to happen next, I think, is we'd have to go to the state. And that's the one, I guess, motion that the county did make, was to send Commissioner Palmer and one representative of the city, which ended up being Councilmember Destin, to the state. I don't remember if that was early April or March, but we're in July. Councilmember Destin, how'd that meeting go?
But they also haven't taken up.
Yeah, that meeting didn't take place.
If we did this and agreed to the parking, and they voted on it, and they passed it, the county passed it, then we still have to go to the state. They have to go to the state with us, or whatever, to finish it out. So, I'm just curious, Chatham, is it just your gut telling you that, you know, they're going to pass it? Or it's just something you'd really like to see if they would do it?
I'd like to
Give them one more
kind
chance,
of bait them and see if they'll actually vote on it, you know, because to Kim's point, you know, they've been putting off going to the state with Dewey. But no, I do think so. I mean, I think Commissioners Cox and Ketchel have kind of illustrated their support for the city. And I feel like he wouldn't present this deal if he himself didn't support it, which gives you 3 votes. You'll see how the other 2 commissioners would vote on it. It would be interesting. It would take, we are 2 weeks from today, basically, to get that vote. And then, you know, one thing I would worry is through the conflict resolution is, you know, if we can agree to this deal, we go to the state and they work it out and they give us the state gives us the property, I think that's preferable to the county getting the lease to the property than signing an interlocal and having it over us, kind of like Noriega Point now, where we saw that email where Commissioner Mixon was fishing for, have we violated any statutes? Because clearly the intent of that email was for them to get control of Noriega Point too. And so I would like for us just to assume the lease straight from the state. I think we've got a better shot at doing it this way without the interlocal. But again, do I think they'll be good partners in it? They haven't illustrated that they would be to this point, but we would have a really much better grounds for, like, it would be a true conflict at that point. Like, in good faith, we've sent an offer that you sent us, and we agreed to it fully. They vote yes on it, and then, you know, if you want to put time constraints on it, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's my gut. I guess, you know, I want to operate in good faith throughout the process. So if it all, and I don't want to see it be a chain link fence for years. You know, I want something done with it.
With that, I mean, we've given them, the council, the staff, whatever, the city's given them, I guess, a year, maybe more. And we've, in my opinion, have went backwards, if anything. So how much more time are you thinking, or you want to put a time frame on it?
I think one of the other things that's a concern, Councilmember Morgan, is the request for the AGO, because in all this time that we're also trying to negotiate with them, Commissioner Palmer went and asked the AGO if he could ignore our land use rules, basically, and if he had to listen to Holiday Isles rules too. So it's just a little bit concerning to not kind of get it in the lane. I see your point about the parking. Whatever y'all want to do is fine. I just want to make sure, since you are just getting back on the council, that you know that history, that we were working with them, and Councilmember Destin and Commissioner Palmer were going to the state, and then now we got, let's not do anything until the AGO says we don't have to follow your land use. Keep in mind also, Larry and I went to DEP and met at this council's direction and said, what do y'all want us to do? And they said the lease is already with the county. The only reason the county probably hasn't signed it yet is because they haven't agreed on the terms. And what we saw in the red line, I can't speak for the county, but it appeared to me, in my opinion, that the holdup was our land use regulations because DEP told them they had to follow them. And so I just want to make sure you are aware of that. And it's not emotional, it's fact.
No, yeah, I
This
get
is
it.
the facts.
Yep.
This is the history, and there's zero emotion to it.
Sure.
So whatever y'all want to do, I just want to make sure you remember how we got here.
No, I know, but the AGO opinion is just an opinion, you know, but also, I mean, we're still waiting to hear back on the AGO opinion, and I think if we agree to this, he's committed to putting it on the agenda on 8/4, and if he doesn't, I mean, that's a terrible look. But then they can have an affirmative vote to accept the deal, and then if the AGO opinion comes back, you know, saying, yeah, you can violate our home rule and you can build whatever you want, we at least have that to stand on, you know, if we litigate or, you know, if it goes south. But I think this is more expedient to get an answer from the county, because I do think through the conflict resolution, if we want this park, we're probably going to have to give up something. I think it's probably parking. It could come out in conflict resolution. Maybe if there's a roadmap, a legal roadmap forward in which we don't have to give up parking and we can get control of this park, I'm all for it. I just haven't heard it articulated.
All right, Councilman Brady, anything else? All right, thank you, sir. Councilwoman Hebert.
Thanks, Mayor. I get where you're coming from, Chatham, but with all due respect, we've been at this for 12 months, and fortunately for you, you've only had to be up here for 3 months, and we have been at board meetings that they have, not they, because Ms. Cox and Ms. Ketchel have not, but the other 3 have literally ignored us. We've sat there and asked for comment. They will bring things up after public comment is over. And I just feel like we've spent months trying to make this work. We want our Noriega Point to be the full area. We want our families that live over on Holiday Isle to get the best end result, and that is no commercialization. And I feel like the longer we put this off, 2 weeks from now, I mean, he could waffle around. I just feel like his heart's not in it for us. They're trying to see how they can get away with doing what they want to do in the beginning and carry it through. So I just don't have a lot of faith in his word.
Councilwoman Trammell.
I'll just reiterate what happened at the county commission meeting was the president of the commission? The head of, chair of the commission, said that there wasn't anything to vote on. So he wasn't planning on voting on anything. So that kind of threw me for a loop. But I will tell you that with our opening at Tarpon and the League of Cities dinners I went to, and Ms. Cox was there, having spoken to both of them, they don't want 100% free parking. They don't think that the county has a right to go in and tell the city in your municipal parking lots that you don't have to charge anything. We agreed on the beach. They thought that was enough. So that kind of made me say, okay, well, maybe we do need to talk to the commission as a whole and see where we are with that. We can always change our mind and say, okay, we'll give you all free parking. But part of our agreement was we were going to add, 84 more spaces down there? So that's 84 more free spaces that were just on that particular lot. So I think it can come back to shoot us in the foot. If we decide to build a parking garage, which we're saving money to build another level somewhere, it's going to be free to everybody. How are we going to afford that? So I'm just going to say that from my discussions, I think we need to flesh out that particular piece of it because I'm not sure that all the county commissioners agree with that. That's all.
Thank you. Councilman Stevens.
Thank you. So are we able to do like a combination of? No, it has to be, because I mean, what's 5 more business days of 5 days to hear their decision and then make a reaction?
We're going to have 2 council members here for one.
Okay.
All right, I see no further discussion.
There's the one question I would have, Sandy, would be, so we don't give them free parking. Do you see a roadmap in which we get the lease to this park? And if so, how does that process work?
Same way all the other processes work. When we sit down face to face with all the county commission, it's a negotiation. We're gonna sit here and negotiate. If at all of that, we sit there and they, you know, all 5 of them say, nope, you gotta have free parking in every parking thing in your city. Okay. Then we can make our decision. If 2 of them are telling me or alluding to me, one told me, one alluded, that they didn't think that the county had any right to determine whether we had paid parking in our municipal parks that were not beach accesses, that says, okay, let's think about this. So maybe with all of that, the concession of free parking, adding, 84 more spaces down there with free parking, and they get the free parking in all of our beach accesses, which they do now on the the ones on the bay. Is that not enough? They didn't pay for this property. If they know they can't put the dock out there, or they can't rent the docks, I'll put it that way, and they know they can't put what they want on it, maybe that's enough. I don't know. But I see the same thing. I just see that I would like to see all 5 of them in a discussion with this and have the opportunity to say, I don't know, maybe that's enough.
You brought up a good point, because I kind of thought it was one or the other. We would be giving the free parking and doing more parking on the Norigo parcel here? Is that what the deal is at currently?
Potentially more parking, that would be at council's discretion if we had management or control of the park. But as far as the conversations I've had, it did not contemplate expanded parking. But if there was an expansion of the parking and it was paid, then it would certainly be included. If it was, even what was proposed for the beach area parking, it would have been included.
Yeah. I would just say, for what it's worth, I'm trying to come back from very riled up and to Chatham and Councilman Braden's point. I'm ticked at them, but I love the idea of this park not getting another piece of asphalt on it. And if it really came down to free parking for an untouched, pristine 4 acres that would be adjoined to already a pristine 14 acres, I mean, for as much as I would emotionally not want to do this, I think for the 20 years from now, when this is only but a memory with those who hold the grudge, I feel like if there is a path forward for the park to be done, ours and unpaved, I definitely see where you're coming from, Councilman Morgan. So with that, the motion on the table, are we all understanding where we're at? All right, so I'll call the vote.
What is the motion?
Thank you. It is number 1 on the recommended motion. If someone can read it.
Adoption of the dispute resolution.
The dispute.
And if that gets passed, it would commence the Chapter 164 proceedings.
All right. With that, I'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, 5-1. So moved.
One other comment.
Please.
If I may, Mayor. As we go forward through the process, and we discussed that there may well just be an administrative, with the administrators participating before we go to the full-fledged. As one council person, I would be in favor of allowing the free parking, if that's what it takes to get us to where we need to go. And I think the mayor might even be in agreement with me. And so.
I'm doing a little meditation while we're up here trying to figure out where my heart is.
So as you go forward, and we may have another meeting before that takes place, if you can administratively settle this, possible, but I'm not going to give you any directions through a motion.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of things you can do to have a motion to vote on the parking and have them put it on their 8-4 agenda, even though this is pending, because
Yes.
we can set up this meeting and cancel it if it gets
That's exactly right.
resolved on 8-4. Now, I haven't heard you all be unanimous on the parking, so I don't know how that comes out, but if you did vote on that, that is an option.
Yes, and with my limited ability to count votes tonight, looked like it was going to be a tie, so I don't see that being very appropriate, but maybe at another meeting, something will change.
Mayor's a tiebreaker.
It would be number 15, but who's counting? He giveth and he taketh.
Well, the second part of this item is for the letter to the state. On the 15th, the council directed myself and the city manager to provide notice to the state of the conflict between the city and the county, particularly with respect to the county's letter of commitment or non-commitment dated August 19th, 2025. That would be required as part of the dispute resolution now anyway, so we're going to do that. And then the second part was inclusion of the city's right-of-way and parking property in the seller's appraisal. We wanted to notice the state and tell them, please don't include our property in your legal descriptions or surveys going forward. We own the right-of-way by deed. So I have put together that letter with the city manager. It's in your packet, and the second motion deals with approval of that.
All right, with that, Councilman Braden.
Thank you. I'll read it again. I move to authorize the city manager to execute the attached notice letter to the state, all cabinet members and the FDEP reps per the directive of the city council on July 15, 2026.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second by Councilwoman Abear. Any further discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, unanimous, so moved. All right, with that, CRA.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is item 5F. This is Resolution 2619, the Harbor CRA fundraising fund that you addressed when you sat as the CRA board earlier this evening, and that board made a recommendation to council that you adopt this resolution. So it's before you with those recommendations.
All right, I have Councilwoman Trammell with the recommended motion. Could you please?
Second.
I move to adopt Resolution 26-19 to create a new special revenue fund.
All right, and I have a second with Councilwoman Trammell. Oh, I'm sorry, Abear. Motion by Trammell. Any discussions on CRA?
Just the same line of discussion.
Please, button.
Same discussion. It appears we are giving ourselves permission to do what we can already do and create more bureaucracy.
This is a
But-
line item.
I mean, but CRA is our state statute, so I see the quagmire, but is it one of those, the state knew better, and now here we are having to check
Well,
boxes?
I still have some questions that I'll ask
Please.
appropriate folks,
Thanks.
but I'll vote for it.
All right, anyone else? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved. All right, G.
Item 4G is in regard to the freeboard 1 foot, 2 foot requirement. We were asked to bring this back for your consideration, so this would be authorization and direction to prepare an ordinance amending the city's floodplain management regulations to reduce the required freeboard from 2 feet, which is city code, to 1 foot above base flood elevation, which is the Southern Building Code and Florida Building Code. So we've evaluated this, and we believe it will move us from a Class 6 rating to a Class 7 rating by a few points, and we're not exactly sure how many. But if you move to direct staff to make that amendment to the ordinance, we would ask you to include in your motion the idea that we would also bring back a plan to the greatest extent possible to recapture the points that we would lose by making that move.
All right, thank you for that. With that, do I hear a motion on the floor?
I'll make the recommended motion,
All right, I have Councilwoman Trammell with the recommended motion.
if I can remember it. I move to authorize preparation of an ordinance amending the city's floodplain management regulations to reduce the required freeboard from 2 feet to 1 foot above the applicable base flood elevation, develop and implement a community rating system enhancement program designed to offset the anticipated CRS point reductions and maintain the city's current CRS Class 6 rating, and initiate the ordinance review and adoption process. Is that all I need?
Second.
Is that all I need? Do I need to add something onto that?
I think that's it.
Okay.
That's with the addition of coming back with the points?
Yeah.
Okay,
And come back with the points plan.
Do it, yes, ma'am.
okay. With that, Councilman Stevens, are you okay with that addition? All right, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All right, ayes have it, 6-0, so moved. Mobility.
5H is regarding Pine Street. At a previous meeting, I believe it was the last meeting, a motion was made to add consideration of the removal of Pine Street from the mobility study at the next council meeting agenda, which was this meeting, and that motion passed 6-1. So that's before you tonight, whether that is something you'd like to do. Upon reviewing that, removing that from the mobility plan will trigger us going and having to redo our rate study. So there'll be some expense there. But what we have done administratively is move it to the bottom of the list. So chances of it happening are pretty well nil. And but if you want to go down that path to remove it, we can do that. Or we would recommend that we have a meeting somewhere later in the fall to reprioritize our mobility plan projects and just slide this one slam to the bottom with your approval. We do have to do these rate studies every 5 years, so we're well into our second year with this one, so we're going to have to redo it again next 3 years anyway. And by the magnitude of what's on the list now, the chance of one down at the bottom coming up is very slim again. But it's before you as requested.
All right, thank you for that. With that, do I have a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion to move it, but I want to ask a question.
All right, hit the button first.
Yes, sir.
Taking a project off, staff believes will trigger a new reassessment study. Is that what they're saying?
New rate study. And I'll ask Robert to weigh in on it. He's certainly more expert on it than I am, but it does require a rate study when you make a change to it.
So I guess my question theoretically is, when we adopted this plan, the object of the assessment, the study, is to name some projects and to justify, have a nexus between those projects and the most we can assess on the mobility fee. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, I believe
Yeah,
so.
that sounds correct to me.
So if we had decided at that point that we thought the mobility fee was higher than it should have been and decided that it should be half that rate, would you say we had to go back and do a new study, that the state statute under which this is given direction on how it operates does not allow us to go at a rate that's lower than the study indicates?
You can go at a lower rate, just not higher.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I think I knew the answer to that anyway. So what we're saying now is if we take a road off, that we have to go through the study, but if we wanted to say the rate was really only going to be half what the study justified, we wouldn't have to do another study.
I'm not sure.
I am answering you about, you can go lower than the study. I do not know about the road removal and staff's theory on that, so
Well,
that
the
I will
staff-
defer to Robert.
Staff is saying that if we take the road off, we have to do a new study? Is that correct?
That's what I've been told, so I was not here during this whole
And you were
mobility
told-
plan.
Okay, you were told that by who?
I mean, I was told that by, that's what I was told that by, or that was my understanding, that is what Kim told me. So I'm not really, I really don't know the answer to that, so.
Maybe we need to seek some clarity. I thought we were clear on it, but apparently we may
I don't
not
know
be.
what we're talking about there. What I've said is if you want to remove a road, it would require a comp plan amendment. Nothing I said had to do with the study. You would need a comp plan amendment because the comp plan incorporates the plan, so you can't change it without that. But you don't, I have no opinion on the study. I didn't do the study. I have an opinion as to the fees, that you can go lower instead of higher. But I don't know that taking out a road would require a new study. I got that from engineering.
Let me make this simply for everybody so we can come to a conclusion of what we think. I'll move that we continue this till the next meeting.
And we'll get
That
some
gives
clarity.
everybody a chance to get their heads together and come up with a clear answer about removing the road. And my question would be, just the roads and the mobility plan are subject to the comp plan? Or if we decide to, say, abandon the right-of-way for any road in the city, do we have to go through a comp plan amendment?
Only when things are incorporated into the comp plan,
And the mobility roads were?
yes.
That was a mistake. Anyway, I'd appreciate a nice, clear-cut answer, so I'm going to move that we continue this to the next meeting.
All right. I have a motion to put this to the next meeting.
Second.
Second with Councilman Stevens, Councilwoman Trammell.
With what Dewey is motion, are we abandoning the road, so we now have to give the right-of-way to either property owner?
He changed.
No, ma'am.
What, I don't understand.
No, we're not abandoning the road.
No.
Okay,
We're just moving it to the next meeting
Even,
so they
even
can
if
get.
you removed it from the list, you're not abandoning the road.
That's right.
And quite frankly, I wouldn't be opposed to the motion to remove it, subject to something to the contrary that would preclude us from doing that. I think that would certainly be appropriate.
Exactly it.
I guess my concern too is not the end that we've had all this discussion about, but the other end of that street where someone had to make a driveway that was a third of the distance and had to clear all that out. I feel like the city was remiss in not building the road there so he could put his house there without having to go to the expense of building that long driveway. And I think we need to look at that if we're allowing people to build and we're not giving them the road to get to their own property. It's just a cheap move for the city to do to not expand the road if there was a road designated to be there. I don't know. I think we need to look at that as well as the other issue that we're talking about here. So
And that certainly could be part of the expansion, but I can tell you the folks on that road do not want us to complete that road.
Well,
So
I'm not saying
that's for another
complete it,
time.
I'm just saying it completed to his driveway. He had to build something to get into his driveway. And that's the part that I fault the city for, because they should have built something to allow him, we should have built something to allow him to get to his driveway, because it was a designated road. That's all.
In any event, we can tackle that one later.
All right. Essentially, a motion to push to the next meeting on this topic. With that, I have a motion and second on the floor. No further discussions. Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it 6-0. So moved.
The next items are your information updates, capital projects, financial TDC monthly report, quarterly investment report, and the minutes of the standing boards and committees. Absent any questions on those, I'm going to ask Michael to give us an update on the storm situation You know, we got something brewing out in the Gulf. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but we're going to see what the latest is.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to give you an update on the new tropical storm Bertha. It became Bertha at the 7 p.m. update. Sustained winds at 40 miles an hour. It's about 100 miles south of Panama City right now. It's moving very slowly at only 3 miles an hour. And it is it's expected to strengthen just a little bit as the days go on. Primary concern right now are bands of heavy rain that we may encounter. The National Weather Service is calling for possible 1 to 2 inches over the next 2 days. Gusty winds can be expected, but there's less than a 30% chance that we'll experience tropical storm force winds, which are 40 miles an hour and greater. And in the meantime, Public Works will continue to monitor, as I encourage everyone to continue to monitor the websites of the National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, and others. The overall assessment is our only primary hazard would be intermittent heavy rainfall, which we've gotten quite a bit of lately. A few gusty winds. With this saturated soil that we have right now, we may encounter some tree loss, but Public Works will be ready to respond at that, or to those. And what I would encourage residents and visitors to do is to continue to monitor the weather through those media outlets that I just mentioned. And then secure your patio furniture, umbrellas, trash cans, because tomorrow's trash day. So once the trash is picked up, if we do get any gusts, your trash can may be relocated. Basically, and as a reminder for hurricane season, always be prepared. Make sure that you have batteries and that you have lighting sources for your home, and battery packs and cell phone chargers and such. And if you want an extensive list of things to prepare or a list of items to gather in your preparation, I would encourage everyone to go to ready.gov. That's ready.gov. They have a list or a little checklist that you can go through, make sure that you're ready. And lastly, pay attention to the beach warning flags, because right now we can be experiencing riptides and such. Not sure what the flags are planned on being tomorrow, but I imagine the Gulf might be a little angry tomorrow. So definitely, as our visitors down here, we got a very busy week ahead of us. Just encourage safety and exercise caution.
All right, thank you, meteorologist Michael. All right.
Back to you, Mayor.
Dr. Jones.
That's all we have, Dr. Young.
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have 3 other announcements. The annual Big Truck Day will be on July 31st at the Community Center parking lot. It's going to be held from 9 to 11 a.m., and it's free to all ages. An EAR workshop about our comprehensive plan will be August 10th here at the Annex. That meeting will begin at 5:30 p.m. And this is, as a reminder, the plan that deals with land use, coastal management, transportation, housing, infrastructure, conservation, and more. And we do have a survey for the public on our website, and it's on our homepage over to the left-hand side. So we encourage the public to take a few moments to fill that out, please. And lastly, the city of Destin is undergoing different resurfacing projects later this month and also in August. And some of those places include North Lakeside Drive and Misty Way. And then in August, we've got Gulf Shore Drive. So you can find out more information about that on our official Facebook page or our website. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, getting into council member minutes, as the county says. All right, Councilman Braden.
I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Stevens.
I'm sorry, I got one item.
No, don't apologize.
So pretty much, I just want to bring up swimmer and safety safety at the West Jetty and East Pass. I don't know if you all knew, but on July 4th, Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department rescued 2 snorkelers that were pulled from the shore. Thankfully, Lieutenant Parkin and Sergeant Batiste were nearby and able to rescue them. But I don't know if you all saw on July 9th, it was on Good Morning America. So with that attention that we got, I mean, it highlighted our Sheriff's Department, which is great, but it also highlighted the dangers of that area. I mean, even last year when we lost Trinity in that same area, At that time, the Harbor and Waterways Board made a recommendation to use the buoys that we acquired from the Crab Island Safety Corridor, potentially use there. And I reached out to Alex Fogg, and he actually told me it'd be a maintenance nightmare to use those specific buoys there. So I reached out to FWC's waterway management team, and they confirmed that the city can apply for a Florida Uniform Waterway Marker permit for danger or informational signage, either in the water or on the shore there. They said that we can use something like danger, extremely strong current if we wanted to. So any signs that we do use, whether it's on the water, in the rocks, in the sand, we'd have to get a permit. And also we'd have to coordinate with FWC, the landowners, submerged land lease, FDEP, Army Corps of Engineers, and U.S. Coast Guard. Alex Fogg said he'd help us with the permitting process if we needed to. But then there's another thing also the Harbor and Waterways Board did, which I don't think ever made it to council. There's a life jacket loaner program. And originally the plan was to put it at Joe's Bayou. After Joe's Bayou got redone, but after kind of seeing all the dangers here, I almost wonder if we could potentially move that work plan to do something at the East Pass area, maybe have it in conjunction with the lifeguard stations there. So I reached out to Destin Fire Chief Sasser, and he actually was on board with this, and he said he would support this. There's actually funding options. FPL actually has a program that will pay for it. Boat US has a program that will pay for it, and CETO has a program that will pay for it. So we shouldn't have to pay anything if we can use these programs. So what's that? Okay, sounds good. So, all right, so I'll make a motion then. Pretty much I want to direct staff to evaluate warning signage and life jacket learner program for the Noriega Point East Pass area, identify the necessary permits and potential grant funding, and bring recommendations back to council.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second for what I would call all grants possible through FWC.
Yeah.
But through your motion.
FPL.
FPL, oh, sorry. All right, Councilman
I
Destin.
just comment, I think we discussed this about 6 or 8 months ago and directed that the signs be put up, and if they're put on dry land, I don't know why we'd have to have a submerged land lease.
Like on the jetty. Or on the sand leading up to the jetty. Isn't part of that public property, some section of it? Because I know there's an easement that goes down to it. Anywhere that we have the ability to put it up on public property, we just need to put them up, because every day we put off, there's another chance for somebody to drown. So hopefully, staff gets the message from this motion. Let's do it as quick as possible.
No, taken. All right, with that, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote. Got to believe.
He doesn't have a cursor.
Oh.
It popped up now.
All right, ayes have it, so moved. All
Thank
right,
you, that's
anything
all I
else?
have.
All right, Councilman Destin. Councilwoman Trammell.
Motion that we made at the CRA board meeting earlier to include the 1.5 million for the completion of Mattie M. Kelly Connector Project, along with the sidewalk and the bike lanes from the town center, and to recommend that this go into the fiscal year 2027 budget.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. She's got to type this one out. All right, ayes have it, so moved.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Hebert.
Nothing tonight, thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Morgan.
Thank you, Mayor. Now that all the Kelly Plantation people are gone, I'll make a motion to untable the annexation. No, but in all seriousness, you diffused that entire crowd, and that was incredibly impressive.
I caused
Good
it, so I
job.
might as well do something
But
about
my
it.
You
theory,
did well.
somebody
That
mentioned your
was good.
charisma, which you do have, but I would also say that I think you reminded them of their grandson probably, which certainly helped you. But really incredible job. I don't have the balls to do that. Good job.
Thank you. For as much of a one topic they came in, this only question I got from was how old I was, so you're probably not wrong. Oh, man. So Councilman Schmidt's not here. I'm looking forward to the revitalization of Main Street that I saw on the work plan. Sorry I missed you guys on this last one. Me and my wife had our 1-year anniversary, so sorry. There are a few priorities in life that come above you guys, and that's one of them. So that's all I got, and we got a wonderful Mayor Pro Tem, so thank you for stepping up. And with that, Ms. Kopp.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, my Destin folks, public comments and business folks. If you guys wish to speak on the public, this is your time to do so, 3 minutes, or we are going to close this meeting. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. No.
That was too many seconds.
She waited through this whole thing.
Long, so I may as well.
Better than before, because we probably would have glazed over.
Yeah, that's fine. Ashley Painter, I live in Perdido Beach, so I'm not a Destin resident. But I am the president and CEO of United Contract Solutions, and our fuel division is United Fuel Direct. We are a women-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned small business, and I'm a 25-year U.S. Army veteran. We are Florida-registered and operate along the Gulf Coast, including here in Destin Harbor. I just wanted to be clear, and there was some comments that were brought up the July 6th meeting, and I just wanted to clarify some things that I believe was misinformation and share what our company actually is and what we do. We offer an additional option. We are not trying to compete with a co-op. We are not trying to compete with other marinas. We are a different service. We are a white glove concierge service that provides dockside fueling for customers that want it. And we also add additives for a premium service for fueling. So it's for the captains and boat owners who choose it. We are not in competition, and we don't provide large volume like a marina. And I wanted to share about compliance, why the service matters. We lead with compliance. It should matter most to this council as far as safety. We met with the Destin Fire Marshal prior to even starting operations, not after the fact. We operate under a current spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan. Our drivers and vehicles carry active PHMSA hazmat registration and training. Every driver who works for us is drug tested, DOT compliant, background checked, hazmat certified, and has a minimum of 2 years of training before they're ever handling fuel on our behalf. I don't know if every marina can say that. I don't know if all the workers on docks can say that they have as much certification, training, and requirements as I require any of our employees. Also, they are employees. We train them, we vet them, we have safety meetings constantly. Customer service is #1 priority. Again, I can't say that for every marina, but I know that that's something I can stand behind. Why fueling matters to this community. We currently serve 34 clients in the Destin Harbor who rely on the service. Tournament and charter captains lose pay fishing time, running to a fixed dock, waiting in line, and running back. Dockside delivery lets them refuel where they're already tied up. During tournaments and peak season, spreading fueling across more than one option means fewer boats maneuvering in and out of a single dock. I'm sure you've all heard over the last weekend there was a tournament in Orange Beach, and there was casualties. It was awful. Having us go directly to docks and to homeowners, places of, where they live, alleviate some of that congestion in the waters, especially during peak times. We had the Blue Angels, there was tournaments, there was a lot of activity. So allowing us to help with that congestion is a safety concern as well. Less congestion, fewer quarters. We also treat, like I said, with marine grade additives when customers request it, which adds a engine performance and longevity on outboards coming to this fleet. During a tournament in Sandestin, we were the fuel provider for it. We had a client call us and say, hey, I'm out of fuel. It's the middle of a tournament. We were at the dock at 2 a.m., refueled them, and they were able to go back out and finish the tournament. So that's the type of service. You can't say the co-op will provide that service at 2 a.m. It's a different level. It's just a different level of what we do. I'm sorry?
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yes. We are also an emergency fuel provider. I started my company as a government contractor, and we provide, like for Bertha, we provide tents, we provide catering, we provide generators, we fuel generators. We do condo units fueling the generators, just fueling in general, and then also emergency. So we started as an emergency disaster company and got into fueling dockside. So that was our number one. So I wanted to clarify some things because I believe there was a misconception about our company and what we do and what we provide. And I just wanted to share kind of, we're not just a Joe Schmo company that's coming in and taking business from locals. We are absolutely not that. We have a direct experience standing up, activating fuel when the power goes out. And it's, we're a second fuel source. So if there is an emergency, we can come in, we're prepared, we're ready. We have all the FEMA certifications. We're a government contractor. I have active government contracts with the Navy, Special Services, Army, and just DOD. So, and I'm happy to share any of those contracts with y'all.
Can you give your information to Michael so that we have a backup plan if we need?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. I'm happy to do that. So I wanted to clarify any of that type of stuff. Again, we're Florida registered. We have a fire marshal approval in place. We're additional option for, your current clients, and we're not asking for exclusivity. We're just asking to continue doing what we're doing. We have the city planning division. We talked with Sherry Burtney as far as what regulations, what ordinance are in place. We're trying to cross all of our T's, dot all of our I's, making sure we are fully compliant, fully safety, and do it as a partnership with you all. We do everything we can. We're not asking for any special treatment, but just continue operating in the safety approvals that we hold. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, anyone else? Destin can clap too. All right, seeing no other further public comments, we will adjourn this meeting.